Beautiful people. I just had the most incredible experience. So a lot of you might know that I'm studying Neville Goddard's stuff, and he was a mystic that cracked the code of manifestation back in the late 1800s. And basically, his whole philosophy is that our consciousness is the divine. So anything you think you desire or you want, it's already done. The second that you desire it, it's done. Then it's up to us to rest in faith that our consciousness is the divine, number one. Number two, whatever we want or desire is already done. And then number three, we live in that faith until it manifests in the 3D. So I got really sick, you guys know. Now I don't know how long ago it was, maybe like a month or 6 weeks or something. And I had to go to a medical center an hour away and get a bunch of blood drawn. And I did not have insurance at the time. So when I went and got my blood drawn, I've worked with hospitals before. I've received a lot of unitemized, very high bills post-appointment from hospitals before that make no sense. And so I went in there knowing that, and I spoke to the woman who checked me in, and I just said, look, it took like 45 minutes, but I said, I don't want any unknown costs coming to me once I leave. I want you to tell me what everything is going to cost in this blood draw up front. I want to pay for it up front. And then I don't want to hear from you guys, and I don't want to receive a massive bill. She said, that's totally fine. It's just going to take a while. So it took almost an hour to check me in because she had to talk to all these different people. They don't have all the lab work prices on a sheet for whatever reason. And when they finally figured it all out, I ended up paying like 200 some odd dollars out of pocket to get my blood drawn. And I was okay with that, but I specifically told her, if this is going to cost like over $500 or something crazy, I'm not doing this with you guys. I can find a cheaper option somewhere else, because I had already done that research. And I would have had to driven a little bit further, but I could have had everything done for a 200 flat rate fee somewhere else. But this was an hour closer, and I was really ill. So, I was also willing to pay over a little more than what I wanted, just to not have to drive, because I didn't know if I could physically drive more. Got the blood drawn, Today, I go to my my highway box, and I get a letter in the mail, and it's a bill from the medical center for $400, y'all. $400. Okay, so this is how the Neville Goddard manifest anything you want stuff works. You get the bill. I got the bill. I opened it up. I saw it, and I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. And so what I did was I closed my eyes, and I said, I'm going to contact the medical center. They're going to totally wipe the bill clean, meaning I don't owe anything. They're going to apologize for miscommunication. And then I'm going to say, thank you so much for understanding. And that's going to be it. I sat there. I felt what that would feel like to have that be my experience with this bill. And then I let it go. And then I found the number. I Googled the number for the billing line, and I called, and I got this really sweet woman, and I told her the whole story. I said, look, I spent over an hour with your check-in lady. It was, booth 3. I remembered her name. I gave her her name. I said all of these costs were meant to be transparent and upfront. I know hospitals can ask for a lot of money on the back end, and sometimes people just pay it. But I had to ensure that that wouldn't happen to me, because I could have had this blood drawn for a $200 flat rate fee. Now what you guys are saying is it's going to be over $600. And I said, and I'm just not okay with that, because that wasn't our agreement. And she said, I totally understand. I'm going to call a few managers, and then I'll call you back. And she's like, it may take me a few days, but we'll figure this out. Don't worry about it. And I hung up the phone, and I did in my head again. I was like, she's going to call and say that there's no bill. Not even I was not expecting her to call like 5 minutes later, but that's literally what happened. I was on the other line with a client, and I was talking about plant medicine. She tries to call through, and then when I get off my client call, I call her back, and she is just like, I am so sorry you had this experience with us. We're wiping the bill totally clean. That's not what should have happened. I do understand, you were very transparent up front. You wanted us to be transparent up front. You don't owe us anything. The bill's canceled. And I was like, awesome. Thank you so much for understanding. Take care. So that's just one little example. And I think I just want to be totally transparent. It's not like I just started studying this stuff and now I can do this every time. the number one thing that I have to do, which I think everyone else also has to do, is you have to keep your reaction emotions in check. If I would have reacted to that bill and then gone into a whole story about the money and not wanting to spend it and feeling kind of gypped because, you know, I thought I had been so transparent up front, I didn't want this to happen on the back end, then that emotion of not wanting this to occur could very well have made that bill stuck in my name. Because I saw it and I felt this is not what I want my reality to look like, and I didn't have an emotional reaction because I was living in faith that I can create a totally different reality in the moment, and then I did, this stuff is starting to happen more and more. And I want to be transparent in the fact that I've been studying this Neville Goddard stuff now for like 8 months. And when I say I study something, I study it every day. I don't miss a day. I practice every day. I practice every morning. I practice every night. And I'm very disciplined about practicing and practicing and practicing until this comes second nature. I think what I witness a lot of people doing is they get excited about something. They read a little bit of a book. They try it. It doesn't work. They get discouraged and then they move on to the next thing. And to actually form your consciousness into knowing and embodying the fact that you have complete control over your reality, it takes dedication, it takes practice, and you actually have to embody that knowing that I know that my consciousness is God. It's the same thing as the divine. It's the same thing as the Great Spirit. So whatever I am forming in my desire or in my, you know, what I want in my life, it's done the second that I desire it. It's done. Meaning that I don't have to think about it again for it to come into my existence in the 3D. What I have to do then is cloak that whole thing in faith. And then I have to live energetically like it's already done. Meaning like once I had that vision that the bill was canceled, then I lived, meaning my felt perception of my life was the bill is already canceled. I don't owe the hospital $400 more. I don't owe it. I'm going to move on and I'm going to watch this little show on YouTube. And I'm not even going to fucking think about it because that's in the past. So you have to live vibrationally like it's already done. You can't live vibrationally like, oh my God, I hope that when they call the bill's canceled. Oh my God, I hope I don't have to pay this. Oh my God, oh my God. If you're vibrationally in that state, then you're going to resonate with, you got to pay that bill, sister. But if you resonate with, it's already been canceled, so I'm consciously on to the next thing, because why would I think about something that's already been done? That is really the key. It's one of the biggest keys. So keep practicing, keep studying. I don't know if you guys have tried the new 10-hour deep sleep hypnosis that I launched, but that deep sleep hypnosis is the framework for this technique to become embodied. So if you listen to that every night, if you hear my pre-meditation that sets you up for feeling what you want to feel, feeling what you want to desire, like feeling your wish fulfilled now, and then you go off into sleep, that's how it gets imprinted into your subconscious, and whatever is imprinted into the subconscious becomes your reality. We are in the new earth now, if you choose to be. Exciting. Oh, it's so exciting.